Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
So, Miss Walling,
Yes, sir.
you did your physics, BSc in physics in 2018.
Yes, sir.
What have you been doing after that?
Sir, I've been preparing full-time for the civil services.
So, is this, how many times have you appeared for the civil services?
This is my third time, sir.
Your third time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your interview?
This is my first time.
Your first interview?
Yes, sir.
So, why are you so keen on joining the civil services?
Sir, I've been inspired by a lot of civil services in my place, and I also believe that the civil services provides a lot of diversity and resources, and it also provides a good opportunity for career development as well, and it focuses on the grassroots level as well. So I'm keen on joining the civil services.
Good. आप पूछो.
Ms. Walling, as I look at, you belong to Mokokchung.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you studied in Shillong and then Delhi.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know Mokokchung, sometime back, used to be called Paris of the East? Have you heard of it?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm not aware of that.
Yeah. There was a time when the best of fashions,
Okay,
used
sir.
to come to Mokokchung.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that's a very important place. And we have an insurgency which is going on in Nagaland. Okay. Which are the main insurgent groups which are operating in Nagaland?
Sir, at the moment, there's NSCN IM, which is in talks with the government, and there's another group, Naga National Political Group, which consists of 7 armed groups together. So these two are the main, and besides that, there's NSCN Kaplang faction as well. So these are the main groups in the state.
So which group is negotiating with Government of India?
Sir, currently now it's the NSCN IM which is negotiating, and besides that the NNPGs.
And do you think these application of something called Armed Forces Special Powers Act, is it required for Nagaland or it should be removed from Nagaland?
Sir, I believe that since the government has withdrawn from some of the districts of the state partially and in some districts fully, I believe that in order to bring peace to the state as well as to gain the trust of the people in the state, and given the fact that talks are already going on with the insurgent groups, I believe that the withdrawal is a step in the right direction, and it can garner greater trust among the people.
We have a history of sports, a large number of sports persons coming from Northeast.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Let's say tomorrow you get a chance to make some policy
Yes, sir.
to develop sports in the country, and Northeast becomes one of your focus. How will you tap the potential of the Northeast to improve sports in the country?
Sir, first of all, students in schools should be given more opportunity to explore their talents, especially in sports. This can be done through interstate or inter-district competitions, from where we can draw the talents. Second of all, we can also provide a scholarship. The government is already providing some scholarship under Khelo India. I believe that this is a right step. And third of all, in order to bridge the sports sector among different parts of the country, I believe that focus on sports such as football or sports where it's popular among the northeastern youth, this could bridge the gap.
Okay, but some people have the view that unless you allot some marks, specific marks for sports, people will not going to take sports as a mainstream.
Yes, sir.
What are your views for this?
Sir, I believe that since the education system in our country is such that it gives a lot of importance on marks, we can also try to assess in that direction. However, I believe that encouragement of and awareness among the parents as well to nurture the children and
No, that's okay. But I just want, if you want to give marks, can a system, is a system adequate enough to cater to this requirement?
pardon, sir?
Is a system,
Yes, sir.
our educational system, does it have any provisions? If it doesn't have any provisions, can you introduce certain provisions for giving marks to the sports people?
Sir, I'm not fully aware of provisions for sports on marks, but I believe that encouraging through marks can also
Have you
open
gone
up
through the new education policy, national education policy?
Yes, sir.
What are the provisions for sports persons there? To increase sports, there are certain special provisions there in the national education policy.
Sir, I'm not
They're
fully
not
aware.
It doesn't matter.
Fully
It doesn't matter. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Compliments to you
Thank
to
you,
have
sir.
reached the stage of personality test.
Thank you, sir.
In Meghalaya, they say that women work harder. Am I right?
Sir, it's both ways, I feel. I feel both genders, men and women work hard in Meghalaya.
No, I said they work harder. So there is a difference.
Sir, in my personal experience, I've seen that both work the
Okay.
same.
Sure. Who was Saint Stephen? Saint Stephen's College?
Yes, sir.
Who was the Saint Stephen in this?
Sir, according to my knowledge, Saint Stephen's was named after the patrons who were first persecuted in the country, the Christian patrons, missionaries who first came to the country. This also has a reference to the story of a saint named Stephens in the Bible. So they drew this connection and named the college
Okay.
in the name.
What is the distinction between classical mechanics and quantum mechanics? For layman, how will you explain?
Sir, classical mechanics states that we can determine a particular position at the particular time accurately. But in quantum physics, the principle of uncertainty comes in, where we cannot determine the state of a particle at the correct velocity or at the correct position. So there has to be some compromise in order to determine the position or either the velocity.
This quantum mechanics can be applied to, say, running railway engine of Indian Railways?
Sir, yes, we can apply.
Just give an instance, what will you gain after? There you will apply Newton's law of motion.
Yes, sir.
जितना कोयला डालेंगे you will get the acceleration and all. Where exactly you put quantum?
Sir,
Actually, it is applicable to very low dimensions, very small dimensions,
Yes, sir.
like the orbits of hydrogen atom
yes, sir.
around the nucleus.
Yes, sir.
It is at that level quantum mechanics becomes important.
Yes, sir.
For bigger things like railway engine or okay.
Yes, sir.
What were the Germans' contribution in say 20s, 30s, early 40s in Europe?
German's contribution.
German people contribution or scientists contribution. Give some instances if you know. If you don't know, I'll ask something else.
Sir, I'm not really sure about Einstein's.
Einstein was a German, no doubt. He was one of the greatest scientists.
Yes, sir.
Who else? Einstein is of course.
Sir, I'm not.
Who discovered
recall-
neutron?
Neutron. Sir, I'm unable to recall. I'm sorry.
The principle you said, the uncertainty principle.
Yes, sir. Pauli's. If I'm not
Only
wrong.
that is neutrino.
Yes.
Discovered neutrino. but it was Heisenberg uncertainty.
Oh, yes, sir,
principle.
yes.
Heisenberg was it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. China has been colonizing in a very special way. Can you guess how?
Sir, it is investing through infrastructure with its policy of Belt and Road Initiative, creating a debt trap for different states.
Give examples of a few countries.
Sir, a few countries as such would be Sri Lanka
Yes.
with Hambantota port.
Second,
Second would be,
there are many countries who are.
yes, sir.
Okay, what may be the quantum of Chinese loan to different countries? There are about 165 countries to whom it has advanced loan. And surprisingly, it advances loans to such countries which are not eligible under World Bank or IMF.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, they will not go to China. So, what is the total quantum it might have?
So I'm not aware of
You
the
are not
total
aware.
quantum.
Have you heard of Chinese loan to Myanmar?
Sir, I'm not.
Your
Yes,
neighbor?
yes, sir. I'm not fully well aware.
Guess? No.
No, I
So
cannot.
how do you tackle China? As a person, I feel worried. The way it has been treating India in all matters.
Yes, sir. Sir, we can improve our border infrastructure. The government is already investing a lot on border
That is one.
infrastructure. Second would be through dialogue. Even though there are differences between the two countries,
Two, what else?
and three, through trade, trade relations. I feel that even though we have differences, trade should not be neglected. We can take comparative advantages of where we can tackle China in trade,
Such as?
such as since Chinese are very adept in manufacturing sector, we can make use of services sector as well.
How do you tackle China there?
Uh,
He tackles us actually there.
sorry, sir.
It is China which makes advantage of their manufacturing power.
Yes, sir.
So he is tackling us, not we tackling him.
Sir, I believe that through services, since India.
You are not referring to the defense preparedness other than infrastructure.
Yes, sir.
What about our missile system? We bought one or two from the S-400 from
Yes, sir.
Russia. On that front, will you work? To what extent? Or that will not give any returns?
Sir, I believe that it will give some returns. I believe that the defense infrastructure and can boost our hard power as well. And
Okay, thank you.
thank you, sir.
IMSENNARO,
Yes, ma'am.
you come from Nagaland. It's known as the land of festivals.
Yes, ma'am.
How many festivals do you have?
Ma'am, there are a lot of festivals.
And the most prominent?
The most prominent would be the Hornbill Festival.
Have you participated?
No, unfortunately, I've not been able to participate.
In sociology, who is known as the father of Indian sociology?
The father of Indian sociology would be G.S. Curry.
What was he famous for, his field?
Ma'am, he focused on Indology, studying sociology from an Indian perspective through Indian texts. So I believe that was his contribution.
Okay, in the last 20 years, what were important developments in sociology?
Ma'am, I'm not able to.
What about critical analysis of globalization?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, in physics, who got the Nobel Prize in 2021?
Ma'am,
Two people.
I'm not able to recall the name.
Okay. Who is the only woman who won 2 Nobel Prizes?
Ma'am, I think it would be Marie Curie.
Yes, okay. Any Indian who won the Nobel Prize in Physics?
Yes, ma'am. C.V. Raman for his theory on Raman scattering.
Did you want to join the Foreign Service?
Yes, ma'am, that's my second
What
preference.
do you know of the Foreign Service? I mean, what attracts you to it?
Ma'am, it gives a wide platform for civil service servants to engage with other nations and to portray India's national interests abroad and to engage with its diaspora.
In over the 70 years, what have you seen? I mean, what can you tell me about the highlights of India's foreign policy and today how it looks?
Ma'am, first would be a non-aligned movement.
That's
India's
for about 20 years, right?
Yes,
In the
ma'am.
beginning, all right?
Second would be its new relations with the US post the US India civil nuclear deal. And currently, India is also trying to maintain a good relationship with both the West and the East.
Indo-Pacific
Yes, ma'am.
strategic, many strategic considerations, no? Neighborhood first
Yes, ma'am.
policy, outreach to
Yes,
Far East, many. Okay. Now, what do you know about India and Bhutan's bilateral relations?
Ma'am,
Important neighbor.
from what I know,
Yes.
India is a very important partner for Bhutan and Bhutan as well for India.
Why?
It shares cultural ties and religious ties as well.
What
India,
about location?
yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Strategic.
that's very important.
Yes, ma'am.
The chicken neck.
Yes,
Refer
ma'am.
to that. What is that?
The Chicken Neck corridor, which connects the rest of the country to the northeast.
Yeah. Now, anything significant that happened vis-a-vis India, Bhutan recently, in the recent past?
Ma'am, the recent issue would be the Doklam crisis.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Could you tell me 5 most important issues pertaining to Indian women in
Yes,
order of
ma'am.
priority?
First would be gender violence or women's safety. Second would be gender pay cap.
Gender?
Pay cap. Difference in gender pay.
Okay, gender pay gap.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Third would be with respect to representation in political sphere. Fourth would be women's education and awareness. And fifth would be with regard to gender health, women's health.
All right. So, what are the laws or policy regarding protection of women from violence?
Sir, can you please?
What are the laws
Yes, sir.
or policies of government regarding protection of women from violence?
Sir, there have been laws which prohibit social evils such as dowry or rape and
Which is the law? Is there any specific law for protection of women from dowry?
yes, sir, there is a Dowry Prohibition Act.
Okay. And from rape?
So I'm unable to recall the correct law.
Any other law for protection of women from domestic violence?
So I'm unable to recall now.
All right. Uh, there was a committee which was set up by government sometimes back to suggest certain changes in law regarding rape and other, offences dealing with the outraging the modesty of a woman. Could you name the committee? Who headed the committee?
So I'm not aware, I'm sorry.
You are not aware. What are Invictus Games? Invictus
Invictus.
Games. Have you heard this name?
Sir, is this with respect to games where injured or sick military veterans can
Yes,
participate
yes.
in the games?
Where they have been recently held or are just going on.
So I'm not aware of that.
What are the parallel games known as in US?
Sorry, sir.
What are the parallel games known as in US? What is the name given to these games in US?
So I'm not aware.
Why do you call it Invictus Games?
Sir, I believe the word Invictus means unconquered.
Yes.
It means to show that even though we have certain disadvantages and injuries, we can still participate.
There was a poem called Invictus. Do you know who wrote it?
No, sir, I'm not aware of the
And
poem.
one of the world's very important leader was very fond of this poem.
I'm sorry, sir, I'll read upon it.
You are not aware. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Miss Walling, have you heard of this term which is being used called Act East policy?
Yes, sir.
What is this Act East policy?
Sir, the Act East policy is to connect India with its Southeast Asian neighbors.
Okay.
It focuses on cultural relations, trade relations, and connectivity. And it focuses on development of the Northeast along with the development of the relations with the Southeast countries.
So under this scheme, have you seen any development taking place in your state in Nagaland? Say
Sir,
road connectivity or anything else?
Sir, recently the government has tried to construct a road in Avako, which is in Phek district. It's trying to connect with the neighboring country Myanmar. In other states such as Manipur, connection from Moreh to Myanmar, and with regard to multimodal Kaladan multimodal transport, it connects the rest of India from Kolkata to Myanmar and from there to Mizoram.
So why do you call it multimodal?
Sir, it is called multimodal because it makes use of different modes of transport such as waterways,
From Calcutta to
to Sidwi port, if
Sitwe
I'm
port
yes, sir.
by sea.
Yes, sir.
Then from Sitwe
To I'm not able to recall the correct city.
Paletwa.
Yes, sir.
And what is the name of the river?
Sir, I'm not able to recall.
Kaladan River.
Yes, sir.
That takes you to Paletwa.
Mizoram.
And from there by road to Mizoram.
Yes,
Which town in Mizoram is connected to this?
Sir, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, it would be Longtwe.
Okay, you check up on that, right? Now tell me, when Donald Trump was the US president, he
Yes,
tried
sir.
to bring the Middle East countries, some of them, closer to Israel.
Yes, sir.
And there was a series of accords called the Abraham Accords.
Yes,
Have you heard about that?
Yes, sir.
What were these?
Sir, it tried to mend the relationship of the Arab countries with Israel. Countries such as Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Bahrain signed it tried to connect with Israel.
Yeah, UAE and Bahrain.
Yes, sir.
Right. And then subsequently, two other countries joined.
Sir,
Sudan,
Qatar.
Sudan and Morocco.
Okay, sir.
They also,
Yes, sir.
as part of the Abraham Accords, right?
Yes. Okay, sir.
Now, you, of course, you listen to podcasts, but a related issue of films.
Yes, sir.
You know, did you follow the Oscars?
Sir, I've not followed diligently.
No, but do you know which movie got the Best Picture award, or who was the best actor or actress?
Sir, from what I know, the best picture was awarded to Coda, and best actor award was given to Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yes,
You
sir.
watch his movies or you don't?
So I have not watched his
Okay,
movies.
okay, fine. Now, let me ask you one more thing. You know, the Supreme Court has given two judgments relating to women who
Yes.
were wanting to join the armed forces
Okay, sir.
to facilitate their staying there. What were these judgments? Any idea?
Sir, it allowed women to join the permanent commission.
That is one, permanent commission. And then, can they sit for the NDA now or not?
So I'm not very sure about that.
Okay, right. So, we end your mock interview
Yes.
and I'll give you a feedback. You're doing well, Miss Walling, you're doing well. You're very poised. You are able to speak in a very measured tone. These are your plus points. Now, what we find is that normally for these UPSC interviews, you may get questions from your DAF
Yes, sir.
or from current affairs,
Yes.
right? So now your DAF, your optional subject was sociology. So, you know, questions relating to sociology, you know, what is sociology? It is a science of what does it do? How does it help society? Who have been the good, the known sociologists in India and abroad. So just brush up on this.
Yes.
You don't have very much time because you've got 10
Yes,
days
sir.
left for your interview. And certainly Northeast, you are aware of your own state, Nagaland, but you know, things, what are the issues in Manipur, what are the issues in Assam particularly, you know,
Yes.
there are so many of these insurgent movements and the government has been able to come out with various accords, you know, they have had an accord with the Bodos, the Karbi Anglongs, right? Then the Bru issue has been sorted out. So just be aware of what has been happening in the Northeast because a lot of plus points are there in the Northeast, right? So just brush up on that. And then of course, since your BSc was in physics, so naturally some questions on your own subject. You are asked certain issues relating to your college itself, St. Stephen's. So how does it get the name? And you know, it's one of the most prestigious colleges in Delhi. So no harm in doing a little bit more, right?
Yes.
Then you know, you have given your hobbies, you read non-fiction books. So what kind of authors do you prefer? Which is the latest book which you have read? What did you think about the book? A critical analysis. Be prepared for these kind of issues. You play the piano. What kind of songs? Western or Indian or your local from Nagaland? And you know, who are the great Indian pianists?
Yes, sir.
These kind of things. And you listen to podcasts. You know, what kind of podcast do you listen to? What do you gain by that?
Yes.
How is it helpful? That kind of, so be prepared to answer these kind of issues. The other area is, you know, general knowledge, current affairs. So read a newspaper very religiously.
Yes.
From now for the next 10 days, you spend many hours reading the newspaper so that you are abreast of what is happening in the country. You know, our equation with China, our relationship with Pakistan, our relationship with what is happening in Sri Lanka, what is the internal issues which are taking place within the country. Then you know, some of these important enactments like the NRC and the Citizenship Amendment Act, its impact in the Northeast, you know, Assam was opposed to it, the ASU was opposed to it. What was the reason for that? Internationally, since you've given foreign service as your second option, so you know what is happening in Europe, what is happening in the US.
Yes.
I think elections are taking place in France.
Yes.
probably by the time of your interview, I think they would be
Yes,
they would be over.
24th is the second
24th is
round.
the second round. So there's a right wing movement which is coming up in Europe. So these are, and it's all being reported in the newspapers. So read that very, very carefully.
Yes, sir.
Follow whatever is happening
Yes,
there. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, you're doing well, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
Right.
All the best.
All the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Can I please ask a
Yeah,
question?
sure.
Sir, with respect to China, how should I have structured my answer or more points?
I would say that only way to tackle country like China is to enhance your defense capability.
Okay, sir.
Some steps have been taken but are not inadequate. For example, one good thing that has happened in India is a nuclear deterrent has been created.
Yes, sir.
So Pakistan and China will think several times before attacking on the nuclear front.
Yes.
But on other fronts, our army has to be modernized on many fronts.
Yes.
China is doing very well, but we have an advantage. We have fought several wars after 62.
Yes.
China has done none. You have an advantage, but you have to convert this advantage by preparing India very well.
Yes.
There, much has to be done.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Anything
All the
else?
best.
Thank
Right?
you, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
I hope you get in.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
All the
Thank you,
best.
sir. Thank you.
Right.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.